Scribal Sessions Volume 1. For the record. Open your eye in alignment with time and you'll see the truth like it's a physical thing. From the darkness I arise, so it's not a surprise when you learn of the light that I bring. As above, so below, I find a rhythm and flow as I grow with the pendulum swing. This is the matrix where everyone's faking they sleep here in life while we wake up in dreams. Shedding the skin like a serpent, this work makes it worth it. Attaining a purpose while searching internal, examine what all is in me. Most will not make it, their soul cannot take it. Reality shaking, you've seen what I've seen. Reap what you sow, with the weavers of speech, achievers, and this is the read 'em and weed 'em. You cannot read them, vibrations that none of them speak. Walking metal, netter, light is feather, is heavy to learn that your will isn't free. Nectar willing, I continue to lead with my evils. I'm sweeping my consciousness clean. Training in realms that are unseen, my aura is some set fire to all of the fiends. Stand on my eye, this is all seeing. I we supply 93, that means we are supreme. Healing through tones on my senses, connecting in this year. Wealthy is health, this is green. This is illusion, reality veiled in delusion. Thoughts become intrusive, it's foolish to not know by now that it ain't what it seems. This is way more than belief. I see clearly the lies. My six senses of sight are hypnotized. No wonder everyone sleeps. Open your eyes. It's time to set off the alarm. The performance self-harm. Don't you know you're a star? God in human form, and you rise with the beast. More than man. Bread in my hand, that's the Lord in hand. Heard what I said, Lord, live in the man. Light is sought after, it's in the man. Come from the inundation lands. Light is sought after, it's in the man. Come from the inundation lands. We ain't the same man. Record keeper. Seeing the state of the planet, the damage, the famine expanding beyond your belief. I see they landed, they've handed the people a cannon and aiming it right at your feet. Blowing a hole where you're standing, creating the panic. The tactical planning is deep. Teaching you're only a man and that God is in heaven, the seventh outside of your reach. If you're the question, they'll call you a manic, frantic, erratic, depression, demonic. When you're teaching through the magical speech, they'll call you serpent, the one in the garden. Pardon my knowledge for having the knowledge and prowess to see. He really told the truth to Adam and Eve. You'll have distinction between good and evil if you eat of the fruit of the tree. Now you're a god, open your eye, cleansing yourself so that now you can see. They stole the stories and twisted them like it's a spliff. They put the fire to leaf, I put the fire to speech. I put the fire to heat. We don't do liars and thieves, they just desire to greed. This is my record to keep, this is my throne. You cannot sit in my seat, and I command it. I give more than 10 commandments. This is the law of attraction, and we have infinite stamina. My stage is where I'm standing. This is my art, God is in me. I only keep goddesses with me. They are the magical beings, they are the holy ones, birthing the gods. We're overcoming the odds. We are the even and odd. They're in the odds, we're in the all. Ancestors answer my prayers, forever grateful. I will forever say thank you. Inspiration to awake the sleepers. Record keeper, more than man. Bread in my hand, that's the Lord in hand. Heard what I said, Lord, live in the man. Light is sought after, it's in the man. Come from the inundation lands. Light is sought after, it's in the man. Come from the inundation lands. We ain't the same man. Record keeper, more than man. Bread in my hand, that's the Lord in hand. Heard what I said, Lord, live in the man. Light is sought after, it's in the man. Come from the inundation lands. Light is sought after, it's in the man. Come from the inundation lands. We ain't the same man. Record keeper.
You and your family health and prosperity. May your monument be established on the foundations of my heart, and may you rise and come forth as conscious light, like the divine Ra, who rise and shine forevermore in my heart. Hotel.
I look outside in awe, I see our people double-minded. People meaning creature, don't ignore the signage. Voices lead, though flying silent. Observation with my eye open eyelid. Look outside in awe, I see our people double-minded. People meaning creature, don't ignore the signage. Voices lead, though flying silent. Observation with my eye open eyelid. I am him, king, crown, rings, Nesu, I am in mindset of when fighting jinns. Sword swang, samurai, I am Shem. Su-hor, son of Heheru, I am him. King, crown, rings, Nesu, I am in mindset of when fighting jinns. Sword swang, samurai, I am Shem. Su-hor, son of Heheru. Words powerful, Hekau. See proof, you can feel the roots. Gone, just look up, I am proof. Breaking doors down, make some room. But I is now speaking through me and
check. Welcome to the House of ATEN. Ancient Tehuti and Teachings on the Tiru presents Scribal Sessions number 20. Language Barriers Part 2, created by the great PTAH, ATEN Tehuti. Before I introduce the brothers on the panel, we will begin, as we do every week, with our Nefer affirmation. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Unki and Ma'at, Un N-S, Nintat or Sat and Ma'at, Men Hapapat and Ma'at, Her in Hu Kui, Per Iku. I live for Ma'at, I exist within her, I do not speak in the place of Ma'at. Every day I advance towards Ma'at, my being is surrounded in darkness, I come forth as conscious light. Peace and love, Hotep, everybody. I'm the great Atef Kem Ma'at, esteemed brethren, as a devoted disciple of the master teacher, Saba Tehuti Amen Hotep Ra, I humbly serve as your guide and host within the sacred halls of the House of ATEN. Each week, we gather here to immerse ourselves in the profound teachings of Ma'at, embarking on a journey of enlightenment. Within this sanctuary, we explore the depths of truth, drawing wisdom from ancient artifacts and the profound teachings passed down by the Natiru and our great teacher, Saba Tehuti Amen Hotep Ra. My commitment extends beyond these gatherings. As a true-hearted devotee, I strive to live and breathe the principles of Ma'at, showing love for my people and resonating with the sacred vibrations of the MDWNTR. I stand as a steadfast guardian of Ma'at, protecting the sacred laws that govern our existence within the House of ATEN. Next, we have the mighty, the Jed Sejem, Ma'a Hemti Paut Ku. The Jed is a seeker of divine wisdom, the wisdom with universal structure, the wisdom that remains the same from every perspective, the wisdom that adapts to any interaction, the wisdom that creates silence, the wisdom that sustains the House of ATEN. And without further ado, I present it for the night, the mighty Scribe Ani PTAH ATEN Tehuti, Tati Vizier, Overseer of Administration of the House of ATEN, Chief Treasurer, Shesh Nasu, Royal Scribe of Tehuti Amen Hotep Ra, Sab Scribe of Ra, Jet, Reciter of Aku, Effective Words of Conscious Light, One Grade of Heka, Excellent of Magic, Technology Architect of Tehuti, Bull of Ma'at, Truly Silent One, Controller of Temper, Most Expert in His Calling, Protector of the Natiru, Neb Acker, Lord of Excellence, Son of the Great Unifier, Nu, Holder of the Secrets of Duat, Smaui Sekmi, one skilled in the arts of music and poetry, Hem Netta Tepi and Sheshet, High Priestess of Sheshet, Saba and MDWNTR, Teacher of the Divine Language, Embodiment of PTAH's Writing Board and Tehuti's Mirror, Leader with the Heart, Eve, Great of Humility, Servant of the People, Tehuti manifesting him, Heru manifesting him as PTAH Neb Ma'at, Lord of Truth, Shimsu Natiru, Messenger and Follower of the Natiru, PTAH Ani Aten Tehuti, a living Netter upon earth who lives in Ma'at, Ujed Usir, life, stability, and wealth. Peace and love, everybody. Welcome to Study God Sundays. Peace, great brother.
Peace. I mean, you looking clean on here, man. Camera looking flawless.
Yeah,
man. I see you, man.
I couldn't get it right yesterday. I was trying, but you know, a lot of people say their camera don't be working. So I be trying, man. You know, you gotta take them small steps and upgrade little by little. Remember, was you around when I had the headphones on? When I used to have the headphones with the mic, not your headphones. I still got them. They right here.
Like the trucker mic.
Yeah, with the gamer mic. Yeah, I didn't know what we was doing. Was trying it. I had a thing behind my chair, a big green screen. Used to hook on the back of my chair so you couldn't see it, you know. You gotta upgrade little by little. You gotta take them baby steps, you know? Put the boat in the water where you at.
Yeah, that's facts. No, I remember those. I remember we used to have them joints, man. You looking clean now. Now you wireless. You good? Yeah, man. You good? It's all good.
Man, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I always had a good mic, but I just ain't have it positioned in the right. You know, I ain't have it in the right place. But yeah, man. How you brothers feeling? How you feeling, great brother?
Doing good, man. Feeling well. Definitely excited for PTAH. You know what I mean? You know how he get down. Definitely excited for this. Just you know, hey, we making it happen, man. Enjoying this beautiful day. Don't gotta go to work tomorrow, so you know we chilling.
I already know.
Hey, them Sundays hit different.
I'm telling you, that's a fact, man. You ain't gotta get up. I'm telling you. Look, I'm sitting up here drinking my tea, my little matcha, you know.
Yeah, you already know, man. We in this thing, man. We doing good. No complaints on this end, man. Just waiting on everybody to jump in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
there go Hush right there. Hush Nation. Shouts out to Hush. Big love, big ma, fellas. Hotep, great brother.
Get the chat. I'm gonna work the okay right there.
Yeah.
I'll make the chat come. You know I don't work. I don't know how to work the buttons, man. How I make the chat go? Let me see.
Yeah, you see it on the side.
Is it that?
Yeah, hit the chat on the side, and then you see.
Okay. Big Ma'at, big Ma'at. What's going on, great brother?
Hey, Saba went in last night.
Man, listen, I was just thinking about that. Man, that was groundbreaking right there. That's one of them. That was one of them break the internet classes. You know what I'm saying? Like that was really.
Oh, you got that recorded already? Got that in the archives?
Oh yeah, I was screen recording that one. Usually I go back and get it, you know. But man, I ain't take that one for granted. I had already started that one, and I screen recorded. I'm gonna still go back and get the whole thing, but man, I used to just screen record them all the time, but what happened was I couldn't so sometimes the programs don't work, man. Like sometimes they allow you to download and take it off of YouTube, but then like they switch it up all the time, and then sometimes cyber classes be so long, I guess the thing be acting up. So I gotta figure out how I actually do that. I have to do some coding, because I know there's a way to do it. You know what I mean? But with the little programs and stuff, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. It used to be easier to do it on my phone, but one of my phones broke, so I don't have the storage space. Yeah, that class was fire, man. Super fire.
Yeah, someone in, man. Shoot, hey, I don't even know what kind of rest did you get, man. Rob was coming up about time we got up out of there for you.
Yeah, it was 5. Now I probably didn't go to bed till 5:30. I woke up at like 11. You know, but you know how that go. That be standard, like for real. Even when he in at like 2 or 3, or usually he in at 4. So that's like an average for me. I like plan to like he in at 5. I sleep till 10. Get me 5 hours, I'm good. Long as, you know, usually I could get 5 hours. Even when I'm out of town and I'm doing things, you know, when I be traveling, sometimes it be tough. But as long as I get me them 3 or 4, I'm good. You know, I'm kind of used to it. But, you know, sometimes it be less than that. It depends on the situation. But people do what's important to them. So, you know, I used to stay up. Memorial Day weekend, bro, I'd have been up. I'd have been on South Beach on a motorcycle. I'd have been, you know what I mean? I'd have been out there in the world all night, riding, 200, 180 pound old lady, you know? So it's like, hey, listen, so if I could do that and stay up with no problem, you feel me? But the motorcycle get your adrenaline hyped up, you know what I mean? So I was trying to do things. I tell you, I had the heater on. don't know, I had a fever, bro. Like, I don't know what was going on. I'm telling you, I think I had a fever. I had the heater on. I had the fan going. And I was watching class. I got like this pillow that kind of slants where you could sit up or you could lay down on it at a slant. But at first I was doing that. I was laying down watching the pod class, you know? And then a moon checked me and asked me was I coming on, which I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna come on. So yeah, it was right on time, man. Everybody had went to bed. So yeah, it was good, man. But that class was different, man. It really was. Everybody needs to see that class. Like how you said, that's either you in or you ain't class. Like, I understand that. And then what make it so bad, bro? I didn't know that class was gonna be that profound. Like, you know, when Nukku asked it, I'm like, okay, you know, I could see, all right, you know, because we know it's a big psyop, but to the degree, they started from kindergarten and took it all the way to K, took it from the beginning to the end. Man, that was fire. And you know, people, go ahead.
Yeah, I was talking to Gabriella about yesterday. I was telling her, like, man, this is what always fascinates me is that how much we don't question.
We don't have no question. We just go
with the flow. Yeah, man.
We don't know we participating in their ritual.
Facts.
We participating in their ritual. We giving they that negativity. We giving it energy. We feeding it. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. Even with the justice system, man. Like when I did my classes on culture, and I did my class on the school to prison pipeline. You know, we're supporting the systems that are locking us up and killing us. Wherever the money, whatever grocery store you shop at, whoever you bank with, they're investing our money into privatized prisons. And they building the privatized prisons based on the school success rate of third graders. The testing and the standardized testing for you know, children coming from low income environments and so on and so forth, and we're basically funding it. You know what I mean? Like, we're funding it. When you get a ticket, when you go pay the city to pay the, you know, you go pay the system. You know, it's bad. It's really, I ain't gonna say there's no way to get out of it, but we have to build our own. Like, that's just a fact, man. Or if we just gonna stay enslaved. Oh, we're just gonna stay enslaved. Well, you know, there ain't no other way. Ain't no other way. It ain't no other option. Like, remember when we were talking about the DEI and all of that, right? And boycotting grocery stores and different businesses or whatever. That's fine for somebody with no children. But hey, man, my children gotta eat today. So if I don't spend money with them today, I got one, I'm gonna spend double with them tomorrow. But then it's like, what's the alternative? Okay, cool, I'm not gonna spend my money with them. I'm gonna spend my money with who? Where am I gonna go spend my money with? That's a better option. That's the game. There's no, you know what I mean? We don't have no black hospital, and I'm just using these terms, right? But we don't have that. We don't have a hospital for us. We don't have a school for us. So, man, listen, until we're able to get that, you really can't not support. You just got to be conscious of it. Like, hey, when I go, you know, buy these groceries, you know, I got to know that the store I'm spending my money with, they're investing in privatized prisons in my neighborhood. You understand? So we have to reach the youth. The best way right now to do that is to free yourself from it, but most importantly, be able to teach your children. You know, teach your family about it. That's the best way to do it. And then start building. Once we create our own, then, you know, then we don't have to worry about that. But, you know, we are a long way off from that, bro. We're a long way off from that.
Yeah, that's facts. People be surprised how much these big corporations investing in so many other little things that's tied to their portfolio. So you can leave one area and try to go spend your money, and they got a piece of that too. But it's just not known to the regular eye, right? And man, you can put these people on punishment for so long, 2 weeks, a week, and they know you're gonna be right back.
Yeah. Then you're going
you go, hey, look, man, when you go pump that gas, who that going to?
Exactly.
When you go you got electric car, okay, who that charge going to?
Facts.
When you you want to go to the grocery store, who that's going to? They gonna get it. They gonna get it regardless.
That's a fact. Right now, until we create our own, you know.
Exactly.
Remember the class Saba did when he was showing how the CEOs from like the food companies or the restaurants, the big how they have they're the CEOs with the pharmaceutical companies too. You know, they play dual roles, right? With the pharmaceutical companies as well as with the big food companies. You know, they're on the board. So you the president of such and such food company, but you also the vice president of such and such pharmaceutical company. Dang, bro. They're poisoning us. They're killing us. What's up, great brother?
There you go. There you go.
Hold tip my eye. Peace and love. Am I clear?
Yeah,
you good, man. Hey, you see the way your Tef looking, man? He clear, honey. Look at that, man. He looking clear.
Yes,
I'm gonna tell you what it is right here. Look, it's my light. You know how to put on my what is that?
Calm down. No, calm down, man. Don't be messing with no buttons, man. Just leave it.
Nah,
you hear them buttons pushing. It's them buttons again.
This mic about to go out pushing that light.
It's my light. Am I still clear? Am I still clear?
Yeah, man. You good. You good.
I have my red light on. I had to, you know, and then with the light on the camera, that make me look fuzzy. I don't like how that looks. I don't like that.
That dropped you down about 200 pixels.
Yeah, exactly.
I was good with it.
Hotep Great Brothers, Uncle Justin Neb. Yeah, all is Akur. And to our great brothers for all that you spoke on. And yeah, we are ready to get into the session. I'm not sure where everyone is, but that's okay. Because regardless, there's one person or 300,000, it's going to be the same quality of teaching. So dua to those who are here live. Everyone push the like button. The support links are pinned to the top of the chat. So please show your support for this session and all that you appreciate from the House of ATTON.
It's Memorial Day. It's the weekend. It's a holiday, honey.
Oh, that's what it is, huh?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just telling you what's going on out there. I don't know where the people at, you know?
Yeah, I think I heard Saba say anytime there's like a Matrix holidays, people disappear. But dua to those of you who are here. For those who are watching on the playback, Ankh the Jed Usir, much life, power, prosperity, and immortality to you all. So yes, here are the support links. Please utilize those links. There's the Cash App, and here is the PayPal as well. houseofatton.org for everything that you need. Go get your merch. Major updates in the works. Major updates coming soon. So to everyone. And yeah, if you great brothers are complete, then yeah, we'll go ahead and just get started.
What's up, great brother? We good. Waiting on you. We ready.
Okay.
Yes, we good, man. Do your thing, PTAH. Let's go.
All right. So let me share the screen. All right, all like that. We'll see if this gets in the way, but I want it full screen for everyone. So here we are, Uncle Jasineb. Welcome to Scribal Sessions number 20. So we are at 2-0, and it's a beautiful thing. So for those of you who were within the last Scribal session, language barriers, part 1. This is a continuation of that. This will be a 3-part series that I'm going to do to keep it concise and together, and given a complete timeline of the source and the origins of barriers being implemented within the language when concerning the MDWNTR, right? And the words that we utilize for the writings today: hieroglyphic, hieratic, and demotic. These 3 Greek words that are used to describe the MDWNTR, which do not do so. So as a scribe of Ma'at, it is important for me to reestablish Ma'at within this, especially for those of you who are here in the house of ATTON, and so you can have Ma'at, the truth of our language, which is extremely important and is the foundation for any of us or anyone to exit the matrix, right? Cannot be done without the linguistics. It's that important. So yes, this is a continuation of that. So if you all have not fully taken in language barriers part 1, please do so. After, if you're watching this on the playback, then go back and watch Scribal Sessions number 19 first, and then come back here. And for those of you who were in that session, just get your notes ready from that particular space so we can continue. All right. So let us begin. So let me change the tone here. And let me grab a water. All right, language barriers by the scribe PTAH Ani ATEN TEHUTI. To everyone for your attention and for your sejem, your receiving ability, your ability to be able to listen in and take in the teachings that I'm about to bring forward. So I'm doing something. Very unique when it comes to these sessions and all of the works that and intention that I put within a lot of the subconscious imagery for a particular reason, right? So this is This was the thumbnail for part 1 with the Ani bowl there, which means to bring or to give an offering. All right. And so as we move to again just display some of the language barriers without actually speaking on it. So here we are in part 1. And so as you all see, the thumbnail for this session here, part 2, is just another variation that we have here. So welcome to Scribal Sessions number 20, Language Barriers Part 2. And I hope you all enjoy and are able to take away from this session new information.
Uncle Joss and Neb, great ones. Do ma'at.
We don't need no Genesis, we don't need no books of John. It's our writings that are house of Psalms, all light received within palms. It's the scribes who taught meditation, holding pen that became the ohm, giving breath, blowing life through song. Eternal life when they sing along, sing. Shoo, shoo, shoo. Yes, head top blue. They caught lapis lazuli. It's Ket's best shoe. Double body when you walk through.
I need you on mute.
Oh, to our great brother for that. What was the last thing you heard? Did you hear the video playing?
Yeah, we heard the video. It was kind of choppy, but we didn't hear nothing after the video.
Oh, okay. To our great brother. So yes, I'm starting this session with where I left off in the last session. And I brought forward this scribal writing here and requested that everyone go read this. And so if you all were able to read the satirical letter of HORI, put a 9 in the chat if you all were able to read this. Right, as it's one of the foundational writings for this session that I'm choosing to use. Right, and so I showed in the MDWNTR that the actual name for the language itself is the Medu, right? As I show you here in the actual PAPYRI, right here, British Museum number EA10247. So here is it on the actual PAPYRI. All right. Who is skilled? HEMU, HEMU, MDWNTR.MEDIA, Nini Kem Kimin F. Who is skilled in the words of the Netcher? All right, and we're going to look into a little bit deeper of this word. And I have taught on this word before, but we're going to look at it as well, as this here is translated into skilled in the MDWNTR. Right, and I showcased how the original Greek words used for the MDWNTR before it was hieroglyph actually was the HORI, which means the sacred letters. All right, the sacred letters, as we see here. The classical Latin word is from Greek, grammatic or techni, which is the arts of letters, both referring to philology and to literature in the broadest sense. Grammaticals pertaining to or versed in letters or learning from gramma, letter, gram. From Old English gloss of it was staffcraft, meaning staff, right? Of course, all originating within the concept of the MDWNTR and being a staff, a support, and also one becoming an embodiment of the Medu as an actual staff that you commonly see with elders. And that is something that Ptah brought forward within his teachings, and that he also recognized himself as a Medu, as a staff, right? And so that continues within the teachings of what they call the hieroglyphs, right? And going into the gram, the letters, also in Old English, directly tying it into staff, right? We see here. Okay, that image ain't showing up, so let me do this. And refresh it. Because I definitely want to read what's there for those of you who did not read the PAPYRI. All right, share screen. There we are. Okay. So here we are. So I read the first part in the last session, number 19, part 1 of HORI's introduction. And so now I'm going to continue from there. After his introduction, now he is going to send Medu to the person who he is writing to, his sin, Amenemope. And so here, let's read this. He sends greetings to his friend, and again, this is from HORI to Amenemope as a reply. So we started with his introduction, and now he's introducing Amenemope. He sends greetings to his friend and esteemed colleague, the royal command, writing scribe. Pull this so you can follow along. Let me start from the top. He sends greetings to his friend and esteemed colleague, the royal command, writing scribe of the victorious army, who is of exceptional intelligence and good character, versed in intellectual pursuits, whose like does not exist in any other scribe, beloved of everybody, as beautiful to one who observes his demeanor as is a swamp flower in the estimation of foreigners. Such a scribe in every respect that there is nothing of which he is ignorant, whose response is sought after in order to ascertain what is best, alert, patient, and humanitarian, rejoicing over instances of justice and eschewing inequity, the scribe of recruits of the Neb of Tawi, Amenemope, son of the steward Moshe, a possessor of reverence. May you, Ankh Uja Seneb, may you live, be prosperous and healthy, O esteemed colleague, being well supplied and well established without suffering want, possessing the requirements of life and food and provisions, while joy and gladness are combined in your vicinity. May they be issued to you during your lifetime, and your gateway not be barren. May you observe the rays of the sun and be satiated thereby. May you spend your lifetime in happiness, with your Netiru pleased with you, without displaying anger. May your reward be received after old age. May you be salved with fine quality unguents, like the blessed ones. May you enter your tomb of the necropolis and associate with the excellent Baas. May you be judged among them and declared righteous in Busiris before Unefer, being well established in Aptu in the presence of Shu Onuris. May you cross over the district of Poker in the Netiru's retinue and traverse the divine region in the retinue of Sakar. May you join the crew of the Neshmet bark without being turned away. May you see the sun in the sky when it initiates the year. And it continues. It continues there. And so again, this is, you can find this in letters from ancient Egypt. You can find this translation as well. And so as you see, this great brother is acknowledging his brother with all of these powerful words, and it continues. It continues. And one of the beautiful things about this writing here is it's it's a response to Amenemope. And for those of you who have read it, then you know what came after him giving praises to his Senu, Amenemope, right? And it's a very beautiful thing. So even within time of contention or disagreement, because that is what this letter is in response to, Amenemope, who is questioning HORI's ability as a scribe, questioning him as a warrior, questioning him, and he didn't take too well to that. And so even within that, you see how he's still sending greetings. If you just read this, you wouldn't know that this person that he's talking about is someone who he then challenges and creates a debate with for the rest of the entirety of the PAPYRI, which is very long, right? So just even by reading this, you wouldn't know that he's about to go in and say, brother, your writings are not legible. It looks like you have about 10 scribes writing with you. Me, what you're reading right now, this is only from me. I didn't have no help from no other scribe. And for you to question my pen, your writing here is lackluster. And I'm going to go point by point by point by point. And I'll have 14 points that I'm going to bring forward to you to further discuss my contention with your own inability of bringing forth correct Medu. He questions him about the SEBAIT. He says, you put this line in here. Do you know in which context of this line was actually being used? So he actually is questioning him, right? But you would never know just reading this here, right? And that's the power of the Medu. And even within those times, the foundation of the standard is brought forward as the one who is leading with Ma'at. So it doesn't matter that Amenemope, spoke to Hori in a particular way with no introduction, right? He brought that forward. He said, you didn't even properly greet me before you started bashing me. And that was very powerful for me to read that and see how a scribe of Ma'at, who is setting the standard and showing by living the example, by giving him this type of greeting before going into his disagreements, which is just beautiful. You do not see this today. This is something that does not exist today at all. This is completely foreign. And this is a standard that the great Hori set. And because of this, it became curriculum within the per Ankh, within the schools of the scribes. So this became another piece of literature that was copied and written on many different ostraca, pots, shards, papyri, as teachings, because this is very deep writing. But I definitely wanted to point this out to everyone to show a source that even when there's disagreement, right, and he still calls him he sends greeting to his friend and esteemed colleague, right, his sinu, his nefer sin, and just because of Amenemope's writing to Hori, that didn't deter him. That didn't change how he is going to respond or how he chooses to look at his friend. And that's very powerful. So here we are, the writer with a refined mind, the Seka'u, Setep, Khati, Wach, Nech, Ra. The scribe with a refined mind. Literally what? Heart and constant prudent advice, or patient in questioning and patient in advising. Who is skilled in the words of the MDWNTR. Right? And again, here is the Papyri Anesthesi 1 through 15, and the direct Medu of what today people call hieratic, right? In which I broke the matrix on the hieratic. And I'll continue to break it down even further here. All right. So the MDWNTR, right? What they call the hieroglyphic, what they call the hieratic, which in the Medu itself is simply the MDWNTR. It's the words of the Netter. That is the name of the language. It's the name of the script. The words of the Netter, right? So when we look at this, you see it here. Divine words, hieroglyphs, to designate both the Egyptian language and writing, notably in the expression Seshni MDWNTR. The hieroglyphic writing, also in the title, Ma'ati Medu'u Shatau Ni U Medu Netcher, the one who sees the secret words of the Medu. Right? Medu, word, speech, discourse, complaint, and Netcher, God or divinity, or a ritualized object or being. See also Medet Netcher, divine words, hieroglyphs. All right. So I went and looked at the what they're calling the hieratic script of this papyrus here, right, of this word, right, just to look at and begin to make myself familiar with these writings, right? And so I also bring this forward for you all to become familiar with this when you look at this, because anytime someone pulls up a papyri like this, the first initial instinct, right, is what is that? But it's just like everything else when it comes to visual sight, outside of just what your eyes are reflecting as light, right? If it's just like as if you go and you purchase a car, right? You purchase a vehicle, and now you're in that vehicle, and then all of a sudden you begin to see that vehicle everywhere around you, and you may have said, where'd this come from? I don't remember seeing this ever. And it's not that it wasn't there or that it didn't exist. It's just one's awareness wasn't focused in on that particular frequency to be able to receive it and observe it. Now that goes very deep, but it's very much ma'at and true when it comes to the Medu Netcher, and even when it comes to looking at the hieratic here. Like one of the most easiest ones that I've come across to see and point out is this one here, right? So even if it's just this one that you're able to point out, you're able to recognize, you're able to pull up a papyrus and find this word right here, which is BT. BT, this long, right? Kind of looks like something with wings here, right? And so when you look at this, you become familiar, right, with being able to find it. Okay, there we go. When I go to click on, it's not dragging how I want it to. All right, and same thing here. Here's another one that is once I point it out to you, you'll always be able to recognize this, which this right here is what? TEHUTI. As you see the extended beak, right? And it kind of curves here, and then it has like a little body right here in the knees, right? So when you look at this, anytime you see this, you know you're looking at TEHUTI, right? And it's a beautiful thing because it doesn't become so much of a question as to what you're looking at. And again, I always say this is great practice because so much is always within your visual awareness that you're not aware of actually. And being that you're not aware of it, it isn't within your reality, right? Your observation is what allows the thing to exist to you. It doesn't matter what's outside of your own awareness, which is something that you're not in control of, but everything that is within your awareness is fully and within your own capabilities of controlling, right? So just bringing and sharpening your awareness allows you to take this with you into everyday life and become more sharp with what's taking place around you. right? Okay, here we are. And so here is the netter symbol, which is pretty much very very closely similar to the actual glyph, right? And here's just kind of like a little sideways triangle, right, on a stick. Manual decodage MDC S43, the netroglyph. And here we have the Medu, right? The Medu glyph, R8. And here is the transcription. Here's the actual scan of it, and then SVG, which is a vector image used for digital art. And so here's the Medu, right? It's a little different, right, than just a straight up and down stick. Because there we have this. We have this, the Z1 glyph, which is just the stroke, right? So that's the stroke. So the Medu sign can't just be the stroke, because then it can be confused for this one, right? And here is the HERU glyph, the HERU Medu right here. So again, you see how it's not exactly, and it changes during the different time periods, right? The further you go back, the more accurate it actually gets to reflecting the image itself, right? So the further you get away from around the what they call the fourth dynasty, right, all the way up, right, till you get into what they call the Demotic, where it becomes completely when it comes to looking at the actual ligatures of the writing and being able to make an image of it. But no, the further you go back, the more it actually details it out, right? So with this papyrus here, we're looking at a papyrus that was written around the time of Remesu the second, right? So around the 19th dynasty. And this is what the scribes would use to write this Medu here, this glyph here, right? And so it's important to know that, because depending on what papyrus you're looking at, you need to know the time period it was written, because it will differ, it will change in what you're looking at, right? And again, here's the three strokes to either pluralize or to triple the power of something, right? So the Medu Netra here in the what they call the hieratic, this is all Medu, right? So it's important to know that when speaking about this, right? So Hotep Hinu to the great scribe Heru, Hori, who carries the frequency and the Medu of Heru. And so as we continue to look at this papyri, or at least this this writing, because again, there are many sources for this. And so let's continue to read this. The priest of Sekhmet, Uab, right here, Uab Sekhet, Uab Sekhet, priest of Sekhet, Hori, right here, Heru E, Sa Unefer, Uat Abtu, Mary Ma'ati, son of Unefer from the nome of Abtu, from the place channel island of Ma'at, born of Tau Seret, from the district of Bubassis, singer of the Lady of the Two Lands, from the place of the Seket Netter, the field of the netter. Right? So let me show you another translation for what one is who brings forth the Medu Neter, right? As I showed you the HEMU, right? Skilled in the Medu Neter language. What else does that word HEMU also translate to or mean, right? Because this is very big and very important to know, because these are the ones who are bringing forth the Medu Neter, which laid the foundation for everything else that came after to begin to exist whenever it comes to language, linguistics, communication, right? Creating a matrix that is built upon the words that we speak, right? And for all of the great students of the House of ATTON, Saba TEHUTI, the pod class, knows a little bit about the spells that go into the language that we are speaking for the purposes of keeping one within the matrix, right? And so once we have that established and we begin to look at some of the people who are responsible for the language, right, and the Masons, and what they were studying and what they were doing, they give you a direct trail to who they were studying. And the reason why that they were studying that is the reason why I go through within these sessions and take people through the Greek, because, and we'll get into some more of that within this session as well, that I think you all will appreciate and see, that everyone needs to see the writings themselves, because we see and we hear a lot about the Greeks. They studied from Kemet, but I'm gonna show you all their writings and their sources, and who they directly said themselves where their teachings came from, right? So if we have that and we know who they were studying, then it should become very clear how important this is, right? This is something that very few people study and take the time to really dig into, which is not for most people to be able to do it. That's why scribes exist, right? But one of the reasons why I started the Scribal sessions is to put out a living frequency for those who find words as important as myself and as the scribes of antiquity, our great ancestors, and really place a focus on that, because that is the source for any of us to be able to break out of the matrix, because that is what is foundationally established to begin to build it up, right? So one who brings forth the Medu Neter, right, in our minds today would just be a scribe, right? Because we've attributed writing in itself of just taking something and just writing, right? We don't call a writer and a artist in the same sense of right, drawing versus writing, right? Those two things are separated. So here I'll take you to inventory 2104 in the Ashmolean Museum, catalog 1070 here. And you see this ostraca here as well. And so what script is this on this ostraca? Well, let me come back to and see if there are people here with us, because when we first started, I'm not sure, so I haven't looked at the chat. Okay. Yeah, Hotep, everyone. Peace and love. Glad to see you all pulled up. Yes, what you all see on the screen, if you all could answer, what script is this written in? All right, this ostraca here. What script is this? And give everyone a few moments to answer. To everyone for your participation. And if you do not know, then you can put that in the chat as well. It's one of the best answers. So I'll just give a few moments for you all to answer. When looking at this ostraca here, what script is this? All right, it's quiz time in the session. Hotep, Hush Nation, peace and love, great brother. Nefer Netter Nature J, Hotep Henu, Nook Poo, peace and love, great brother. Minty Hotep, peace and love to you, great sister. Bijan Pharaoh, Hotep, great brother. Basa Tup Maka Ox Effect, Hotep Marie. To you, Big Vapes, peace and love, great brother. Robert Williams, Hotep Ma'at. Okay, great to see you all. Amun Ka TEHUTI, Tua HOA, Hotep to you. And Amunet, Hotep Ma'at. All right. Gabriella, peace and love to you. Uncle Jasinep, I hope you are strong and healthy. Much love to you. She says, not sure. She says, not sure. Wonderful. Nefer Netter Nature J says, heretic. I think you meant hieratic. Which there is a difference because the heretic, that's what if you say heretic, people think you're talking the heretics. But hieratic, yes, I know what you meant. Robert Williams. Looks like hieratic. I don't know for sure. Don't know. Wonderful answers. Demotic. Okay. Minty Hotep, say again. The question is, what is this script that you see on the screen right here? What is the name of this script that you all see, right? I've been going over the names of the scripts that are used today. So when looking at this, what all do you see? Like, what's the name of this writing here? So we have hieratic, right? From Nefer Netter Nature J, Robert Williams. Don't know. Nukpu. Demotic. Oh, here he goes. Looks more like hieratic. All right. Amunet says, I'm not sure. Okay. So wonderful, wonderful, everyone. Tua for your participation within this. Again, this was a that was a trick question, everyone. That was the snake style question. But you all, this is the beautiful thing, right? So again, Tua for everyone's participation. The name of this script is called the MDWNTR. Right? Right? This is the MDWNTR here. That, yes, people will today call hieratic. Right? You know, it's hieratic just by looking at it, right? The demotic is far less. It's it's way different than this. So again, just comes with looking at it. But again, that was a trick question. The name of this script and is MDWNTR, right? So again, the papyrus and the writings of Hori. Here's another section of it from an ostraca. And so let's look at the translation for this MDWNTR here as well. To everyone for participating. So here we are. Same words. HEMU in MDWNTR. Nini Kim in F. And now we have a translation of an artist of the MDWNTR. There is nothing he does not know. So now this word HEMU, as you see, as I have up here, is a word that means art, craftsmanship, skill, right? That we saw in the other translation, skilled in the MDWNTR. Well, that same word is art. So now, as a scribe who is bringing forth the MDWNTR, you're now recognized as a HEMU, as an artist, as a craftsman, right? Which then is directly connected to PTAH, right? So this is artwork. This is artwork right here directly from the scribes themselves, right? Because he could have put SEKAU in MDWNTR, right? Session MDWNTR, writings, a writer of the words of the netter, but Hori chose to put HEMU because he is an artist, right? And his love for the language is very deep. And this is one of my favorite papyri because of his depth for study and knowledge of the language. And he went deep in there and really showed the skill set of an ancient scribe of Ma'at. Again, no ain't no internet, no none of that. Just papyri, ink, and a brush. And it's just very powerful. So as an artist of the MDWNTR, as a HEMU of the MDWNTR, one who there is nothing that he does not know. So he represented that as himself, but also as his Sinu Amine Mopek. That there is nothing that one does not know, skilled and an artist of the Medu, right? So this changes the complete perspective as someone who just writes a letter in English versus someone who is a HEMU of the MDWNTR, right? It's an art form, which then takes the language far more abstract, right? So this is very important to point out and to showcase, right? As those of us who are within the sessions, all learning the scribal works, because that's any writings that we know of is because of the scribes, right? So we're all studying the writings of the scribes, and as you all know, within these sessions, I just pinpoint specific scribes and I go into detail of who these scribes were and what they taught, because each Saba, each scribe who was teaching the SEBAIT had their own unique way of teaching, and there would be different teachings that could be placed under the same category, and just depending on the situation is the SEBAIT that you can pull from, right? There's many different there's much guidance within the SEBAIT for different purposes, and so just diving into the mindset of a scribe who wrote this to showcase his penmanship. This one is very important to look at each word and what words he chose to describe himself and what words he chose to use to bring forward something that can be related back to someone else, right? By reading the words. So he is a HEMU, right? An artist, not just a sesh or a sekau, right? Not just a scribe, but a HEMU, an artist who is skillful within the artwork of the MDWNTR. Very powerful. So when we look at the etymology of art, right? Skill as a result of learning or practice. So art, skill as a result of learning or practice. Art, work of art, practical skill, a business craft. All right. Manner, mode, Greek, artisan, right? The artisans, to prepare. Suffix, form of root R, to fit together. Etymologically is akin to Latin arma, weapons. To arm self. All right. In Middle English, usually with a sense of skill and scholarship and learning, especially in the 7 sciences of liberal arts, the sense remains in Bachelor of Arts, the meaning human workmanship, as opposed to nature, is from late 14th century. The meaning, the system of rules and traditions for performing certain actions, is from late 15th century. The sense of skill and cunning and trickery is attested by late 16th century. Artful, artless, the meaning skill in creative arts, which is what we use today, is recorded by the 1610s. All right. So again, the words that we use today to describe a thought, if that is diluted and only pointed towards one meaning within your mind, whenever you're using the word, it takes away the power, right? So if anytime you use art, I'm an artist, and you only apply it to, you know, drawing or painting and sculpting, then you take away your own power of the original meaning of what it meant to be a HEMU, an artist, a craftsman, one who is skilled in something. It don't matter what you're skilled in. It's skill as a result of learning or practice. It doesn't matter what the skill is. You become an artist of your skill set. Whatever it is that you want to become great in, whatever skill that you want to advance and be a pillar in, master that. Place a focus on that. Become skillful in that. Treat it as art, because it is. It is art, and you are crafting together your skill set to be able to bring that thing forward at a high level, right? And this is directly tied into the writings of the MDWNTR, because it branches off into everything, right? So each of you are artists that take time to learn and to practice any skill set. And if you're at a point right now where you may be looking internally and say, do I have a skill set that I'm learning and that I'm practicing to become, that I'm fitting together, and I'm becoming greater at this thing, right? And if that's not there for you, right, it's important to know that our abilities as especially as Rekiet, as Shimsu, followers of Ma'at, there are infinite amount of skill sets that we can tap into. And I teach many skill sets. I teach many skill sets. And you know, these are all things that all of us have the ability to learn, right? And it's a great thing to learn new skills, right? So it doesn't matter what it is. You may not, it doesn't matter what it is. Pick something and start to craft it. Start to craft it and put yourself in a position to become an authority of that skill set. Become an artist, because everything that you see around you is just a reflection, right, of light, frequencies, sounds, and our eyes, our brains are taking the frequencies and the reflections and combining and gathering together and fitting together itself to be expressed within our visual cortex, so then we can now perceive the frequencies around us. It's art at all times that is taking place within us and around us. And a part of becoming a master or a creator of your reality, someone who's able to manifest and bring something forward from a thought into the physical reality to experience and for others to perceive, is to place yourself in the seat of an artist. Every single person who is here receiving this class is an artist. And when you walk with that, you now have a shift in mindset to someone who is now creating and someone who is now skillful in crafting something, which is a very powerful thing to place within your mind whenever you're doing anything, right? As artist, right? So very powerful, very powerful. So let us continue. Let us continue. So the beautiful thing about one of the beautiful things about the SEBAIT and the scribes, and because of the detail that went into, you know, writing, you're making sure that you write yourself as the artist, right? Here's the artist and here's my signature. Because of that, we were able to find some very powerful things. So HORI, who was the scribe of this writing that I'm showing, was also a scribe of a SEBAIT. Very short, but it exists. And he actually wrote that for another one of his Sinu, another one of his brothers, who is another very usir or famous scribe, Amen NAKHAT. So you all may have heard of the teachings of Amen NAKHAT. If you have not, look up the teachings of Amen NAKHAT, AMEN NAKHT. Amen NAKHAT, another great ancestor, another great scribe. So HORI and Amen NAKHAT were colleagues, right? They were Sinu, they were brothers, and they worked together, and they were very close. And Amen NAKHAT's SEBAIT, he actually wrote to the son of HORI, of this scribe here, of the satirical papyri, whose name was HORI Min. So HORI had a son named HORI Min, and Amen NAKHAT, the scribe Amen NAKHAT, wrote a SEBAIT to HORI Min, HORI's son. And so HORI also returned that unto Amen NAKHAT's son once Amen NAKHAT transitioned into the Duat. Once he made his transition, HORI then wrote a SEBAIT to Amen NAKHAT's Sa, his son, and we actually have that. So I'm going to bring that to you all so you all can see. So here is an image of the actual ostraka here, which is O. Gardner 2, Ashmolean Museum, which again, if you look at this, all right, what script is this? What script is this? All right. This would be considered hieratic. All right. This is what they would call hieratic. So if someone says, hey, what language is this written in? Which is, instead of asking, you know, what script is it written in, they'll say what language, which there's a difference, but what script is this written in? People say hieratic, right? No, this is MDWNTR. All right, so anytime anyone asks that, it's the MDWNTR. And if they want the Greek terminology, then this is what the Greeks called hieratic. They don't know why, but you all do who are in these sessions. All right, so there it is. And there is the transcription of it. So you can see the actual script a little bit better. All right. And here you can see in the beginning, right here, this is the fourth part of a lion, right? And then the extended arm, ha, or hat, or hati, which means to be at the forefront, right? The beginning of the what? Here's the seneb cloth, seneb, and then here's the foot, all right? And then the star. So the SEBAIT, beginning of the SEBAIT of what? The metert, met, the extended phallus, which means to be right, to be exact, straightness, instructions, guidance is direct, straight instruction, right? That's met or meter. All right. So let me show you the SEBAIT of HORI. Hat, SEBAIT, and then meter, ui, HORI, in sesh, HORI. There he is right there. Beginning, right here they say educational theory, right? Because again, there's many translations. When people are translating these, the Medu, there's going to be multiple translations, right? There is no just one exact translation. This is what this means. So you'll see here it says educational theory when referring to SEBAIT meter ui, which SEBAIT, which again is instructions, right? The writings, but this has the glyph or the medu here for the papyrus roll, and then the met. So a straightforward instruction of the teachings of the duat of the SEBAIT. All right. So beginning of the educational theory written by the scribe HORI. Here begins the guidance teaching made by scribe HORI, who says, set your heart on writings greatly, a calling that profits its doer. When your father toiled at writings, he was greeted in the street. He was in good health through it. Years like heaps of sand were his. He was wealthy in his earth days, till he reached the western shore. Be a scribe, become his like. Then will riches grow around you, that your name be like his name. You obtain your fathers, and you prosper upon earth. All right, so this is again the scribe HORI, the same who was writing to his brother Amenemope, his sinu, his colleague, his friend Amenemope, who is now writing a SEBAIT in the MDWNTR that people call hieratic in the MDWNTR for his sinu's sa, right? So it wasn't, the scribes themselves didn't just solely write for their children, right? They were sabas, they were teachers, they were guides. So they wrote for the youth. And each student was looked at as a child, right? As a sat, right? And you in the writings being recognized as a father, right? And even one of the titles for the priests would be a tef neter, father of the neter, right? So we embodied the energy and frequency of the atef, which did not just mean your direct descendancy through sinu, which again is the word for blood, right? So it did not work in that way. So it's a beautiful thing, right? So right here it says that your name be like his name. And in the Medu Neter, this word name is Ren, and then to be like his name, which is Ren, and then it has this same glyph here, right, to represent the netter. So for your name to be in the same frequency as the name of a netter, because there's a difference, right? There's the Ren that you have, and then you have the Ren with the classifier of the netter, right? Either an axe, or you'll see the hawk on the standard, right? Which means a netter name. So be a scribe, become his like, then will riches grow around you, so that your name be like his name, right? And going into NAKHAT, as he's writing about his great Sinu, your father NAKHAT toiled at writing. He was greeted in the street. He was good in health through it. Years was like heaps of sand were his. He was healthy in his earth days till he reached Amentet. So you obtain your fathers, blanked out, and you prosper up on earth, right? So here's a beautiful SEBAIT from this continued scribe HORI that I'm bringing forward for people to utilize his tone, right? We know Ahotep. Those are the two scribes that the majority of people who study Egypt know of. Definitely Ptah-hotep, and second to Ptah-hotep would be Amenemopet, right? And so just these sessions, I bring forward all these Rens of the scribes that you all can utilize, right? We know the power of utilizing the tones of our ancestors and invoking those tones. Our ancestors are living, right? You see their writings, you see what they're writing about, like they're living, they're conscious. So by having the Ren and more detail of the actual scribe that I'm bringing forward, builds a more accurate GPS, right? So yeah, let us continue. Duan Henu to the great Sesh Sekau HEMU Heru. All right. So when we look at the Medu Neter, right, that's what today becomes this word hieroglyph, right? And here is this word. Here's the hide, and then horo. This P is really an R, right? The hieroglyphicos. The hieroglyphic, with or without. Here's the gramata, the letters. So I showed in the last session the with the 5th century BCE, where the word from Herodotus that they quote unquote call the father of history, which again is incorrect. It's the father of Greek history, that was given to him and attributed to him by Marcus. And so again, broke that matrix, and showing how the hieroglyphics was not hieroglyphics in 5th century BCE. It was the hierogram, the gramata, hieros gramata, the sacred letters. So where does this hieroglyphics come in? Like where did this word within the attestations that we have, right? Where did this word begin to find itself? To where now, anytime anyone ever speaks about the MDWNTR, they say hieroglyphic, and no one can say, "Oh, it's the same amount of syllables," right? Same amount of syllables. So what is the source? So let me take you all to that. Here is your source as far as attestations that we have today, and showcasing where does the oldest word for hieroglyphic reside? Where does it exist? Like, when was that word first used? All right, those are the questions that I ask, and I received the answers to, right? So here is Diodorus Siculus in the Bible Historica, the Bibliotheca Historica, books 1 through 5. All right. Oh, and Diodorus Siculus, again, these writings, the attestations that we have are way later, but Diodorus Siculus himself is dated around 100 BCE, about 20 BCE, roughly. So the source of Diodorus is right there at the 1st century BCE. All right, so I showed the 5th century, and now we're into the 1st century BCE right here. So let's read this. Diodorus Siculus, Bibliotheca Historica, volume 1 through 2. So, but about the Ethiopian letters called hieroglyphics by the Egyptians. So let's read that again. But about the Ethiopian letters called hieroglyphics by the Egyptians, it should be said so that we do not omit anything that is archaic. It happened that in their types there were similar animals everywhere, and on the limbs of people, even on organs, and even on tectonic ones. For grammar does not render the underlining word for the composition of the syllables, but from the emphasis of the transcribed and the transfer of a common memory. For they write a hyena and a crocodile, and also a snake, and those from the body of men, the eyes and hands and face and other things. The word hyena, therefore, to them signifies all things that are bitter. For this life of birds is almost the most bitter. The word is transferred to the houses by metaphors to all the bitter things, and these houses are close to those mentioned. But the crocodile is important for all evil, and the eye is the keeper of justice and the guardian of the whole body. The right of the 4 corners is the having fingers extended signifies the acquisition of life. The 4th, the unanimous, the keeping and guarding of money. The same argument applies to the other types of things from the body and the organic and all the others, for in each of these they emphasize them, and by long study and memory they train their souls. They read each of the things written. Diodori Bibliotheca, 1st century BCE. So this is a Greek writing about the MDWNTR that he calls the hieroglyphica, that are known as the Ethiopian letters. The Ethiopian letters, right? So you see him going in here and breaking down some of some of the what he calls the hieroglyphica, right? He's saying there's animals. We do not omit anything that is archaic. It happened that in their types there were similar animals everywhere, and on the limbs of people, organs, and even tectonic ones. For the grammar does not render the underlining word from the composition of the syllables, but from the emphasis of the transcribed and the transfer of common memory, right? So they were trying to understand the depth that the MDWNTR brings, right? And trying to, so here's a direct Greek teaching, the MDWNTR, right? Has anyone ever seen a direct writing of a teaching from a Greek, Diodorus Siculus, attempting to teach the MDWNTR? So then we see this person who is teaching the Medu, Diodorus. So who is he? Right? So we start to see a trail, and again, this gets really, really deep. Gets really deep and showcasing and following the trail, right? In today's time, there's a famous quote, and if you want to see, who's in charge, follow the money, right? Follow the paper trail. If you want to see who's in charge, follow the language. Follow the paper trail of the language, and you'll see how and why people today speak the way that they speak, and it all comes from this Greek here. And that's why I go into the Greek, to show everyone what these Greek people were saying and what they were teaching and how we ended up here, right? So Ethiopian letters that is being used to recognize the hieroglyphics. But in today people will say, oh, well, there's the northern and the south, right? The two lands, they're separated. This is Egypt up here. Ethiopia ain't Egypt. Ethiopia is not Egypt. That's the Nubians. That's not, and again, these were all things that were created to where now people today say these things. People are only speaking how the Greeks set the standard for everyone else, right? Which then led into, of course, Christianity and the Romans, and then they twisted even more. But you see here that Diodorus is speaking about the hieroglyphica being, as you see the word here, show you right here, right? What they call the Egyptians, right? And then the grammata, here's the grammata, the letters of the what? Here's the Aith, what they call the Aith, or the Ethiopians. The Ethiopian grammata, which the Egyptians call the hieroglyphics. So here, there's like a separation between the Ethiopian and the Egyptian, but the Egyptians are calling the letters of the Ethiopians the hieroglyphics. So you see where the confusion comes in, just even within his own understanding of the language. The MDWNTR was all along the Nile Valley. Right, that was the MDWNTR is the name of the language all across the Nile Valley. All right, of course, starting in Ta-Neter, the land of the Neter, which what they would call Ethiopia. All right, so this is your source of the word hieroglyphic being used as far as attestation that we have today, and showing where this word began to be utilized to describe the name of the Medu outside of Hieros Grammata, right? The Ethiopian letters now becomes the hieroglyphica. And so with this, again, I hope you all are taking these notes and keeping track of everything. So the next source that I want to show you all, speaking of hieroglyphs, is in another very important Greek writing that everyone should know about, right? And that's in the writing that you may know of today, or if you have not heard of it, there's a writing called Of Isis and Osiris by Plutarch, right? It's in his writings called Moralia, Moralia, Plutarch Moralia of Isis and Osiris. And again, it's the Greek teaching of Asar of the Neter, right? And it's important to read what the Greeks said about the Neter, because you then see where it translates into today. All these people speaking, and you start to see and understand, you know, why people say what they say and why everyone is unorganized in thought and sporadic, and where people can seem to be organized in one moment and then the next moment completely erratic and don't know what's happening, right? The psychosis that goes within the matrix, and the language that is built on top of it creates a internal combustion that, if one does not stay consistent, can then it will be used against you, because all of this confusion is taking place on a subconscious level. All right, so let me show you of Isis and Osiris. All right, very important. So let's read Plutarch's Moralia, and I have the Greek on the left and the translation on the right. All right, page 354. Shrines to indicate that their religious teaching has in it an enigmatical sort of wisdom. And Sais, the statue of Athena, whom they believe to be Isis, bore the inscription, all that has been, and is, and shall be, and my robe no mortal has yet uncovered. Moreover, most people believe that Amun is the name given to Zeus in the land of the Egyptians, a name which we, with a slight alteration, pronounce Amen. But Manetho of Sebennytus thinks that the meaning concealed or concealment lies in this word. What do you know? Manetho of Sebennytus was actually correct, right? So again, this is important, right? To not be biased against your own self, right? As much as one may dislike any particular thing, or as followers of Ma'at, we don't lead with a bias. We lead with facts and accuracy, right? So there may be 800 things that this Manetho made up, got wrong, assumed, interpreted incorrectly, interpolated. It could be many things that's wrong, but just for this one point right here, this is one point of saying that amen means to conceal or concealment lies in the word. He's correct, right? That's right. That's accurate. So we can't take something and just say everything in it is inaccurate. No, you have to look at point by point by point, like the HEMU, the SESHION, the scribe HORI teaches and talks about in his satirical letter to Amenemope, right? Point by point by point. So here he's correct. Amen does mean to conceal, right? To be hidden. You'll see the person who's standing behind a covering, right? It means to be hidden, to conceal. So he's correct. Hecataeus of Abdera, however, says that the Egyptians use this expression one to another whenever they call to anyone. So Hecataeus of Abdera says that they use it to call out to anyone. So this is a word of a form of address, right? Amen becomes a word of just addressing someone. When they therefore address the supreme neter, whom they believe to be the same as the universe, right? So again, this is them teaching from their perspective on what they think is happening, right? So we just have to look at every single thing, right? So who they believe to be the same as the universe, as if he were invisible and concealed, right? And implore him to make himself visible and manifest to them. They use the word Amun. So great then was the circumspection of the Egyptians and their wisdom touching all that had to do with the Netiru. Right? So again, here is Plutarch teaching on the Medu Neter and teaching on what they understand of Amen being used, right? As a word of concealment and as a word of address to people to bring forward Amen, the word of speaking it, to taking it from the hidden space into the seen space, into the visible and the manifest, right? Witness to this. Who's a witness to this? Witness to this also are the wisest of the Greeks: Solon, Thales, Plato, Eudoxus, Pythagoras, who came to Egypt and consorted with the priests. And in this number, some would include Lycurgus also. Eudoxus, they say, received instruction from Chanuphis of Memphis, Solon from Sonchus of Sais, Pythagoras from Unephis of Heliopolis. Pythagoras, as it seems, was greatly admired, and he also greatly admired the Egyptian priests. And copying their symbolism and occult teachings. So everyone knows Pythagoras, right? Here's the Pythagoras theorem. It's Pythagoras theorem. Everybody knows Pythagoras. So here is directly from the Greek, Plutarch himself, who says Pythagoras, who greatly admired the Egyptian priests, and copying their symbolism. Pythagoras is copying their symbolism and occult teachings. Pythagoras is copying their symbolism and occult teachings, incorporated his doctrines and enigmas. Okay, so in Of Isis and Osiris, Plutarch's Moralia, he speaks about Pythagoras copying the symbolism and teachings of the Cometians to incorporate them into his own doctrines. Okay, and I'm just repeating that so it becomes carved within your memory, because that's very important, because everyone knows of Pythagoras, right? And here's a direct source of him copying their symbolism and teachings to incorporate his own. As it continues, as a matter of fact, most of the Pythagorean precepts do not at all fall short of the writings that are called what? Hieroglyphica. So here is your second source for the Medu being called hieroglyphs, right here, and of Isis and Osiris, when in context of referring to Pythagoras creating his doctrine, and the precepts or the Pythagorean teachings do not fall short of the writings, which means they are of the writings, copying their symbolisms, their teachings, their doctrines, so that the precepts are copies of the writings that are called hieroglyphs, such, for example, as these: do not eat upon a stool, do not sit upon a peck measure, do not lop off the shoots of a palm tree, do not poke a fire with a sword within the house. So this is as direct and as clear as it can get of showcasing where the wisest of the Greeks learned from, right? Directly from the writings of the MDWNTR, literally. And it gives examples of the SEBAIT, right? What to do, of what not to do. Very powerful. For my part, I think also that their naming unity, Apollo, duality, Artemis, the hebdomad, Athena, and the first cube, Poseidon, bears a resemblance to the statues and even to the sculptures and paintings with their shrines are embellished. For their king and lord Osiris, they portray by means of an eye and a scepter. There are even some who explain the meaning of the name. Okay, so here's Plutarch about to break down the name of Asar, many-eyed, on the theory that us in the Egyptian language means many, and iri, which is eye. Okay. And the heavens, since they are ageless because of their eternity, they portray by a heart with a censer beneath. Right? The incense. In Thebes, they were set up statues of judges without hands. And the statue of the Chief Justice had its eyes closed to indicate that justice is not influenced by gifts or by intercession, which of course is within the SEBAIT, and to not accept bribes, right? To do something incorrectly. So very, very, very deep and very important. These writings here, and showing where Pythagoras got his teachings from, including the teachings on what they call Pythagorean precepts. So yes, here are the two sources: Plutarch, the Isis and Asar, and Diodorus Siculus Bibliotheca Historica, where the Hieroglyphica and Hieroglyphica both exist. So these are the two oldest attestations and where hieroglyphics began to be used, right? Of these Greeks trying to teach on the MDWNTR, which some of it was accurate. It was accurate. Arti does mean I, right? Us can mean many. Us or as, which is aset, which is the glyph of, again, this glyph, this medu never really gets pointed out, but aset is also a word that is of a lizard type creature, and it means many. So again, they were correct with that. Us or as does mean many, and iri does mean eyes. So us ir can mean many eyes, right? So that is correct, right? So again, we just have to look at what they said and not be biased to it for we want our information to be correct, especially when bringing it forward. And it's much more powerful to show that that there were those who at times did attempt to be accurate in what they brought forward for many reasons. But here are those two sources for you, again, of Isis and Osar around 1st century AD, CE, and the Diodorus Siculus 1st century BC, right? So right there in the time span of the creation of who they call Jesus. And again, whenever you look up information, same thing, whenever you're doing research and to fact check what you're looking up, which people don't do, especially when it comes to the GPTs that are available for people to do a lot of research. People don't, and this is a great teaching point as well, because these things happen. So when you're doing particular research and anything you're looking up, you want to not just take it for face value, right? No matter what anyone brings forward, you want to take it and you want to dig into it yourself. You want to look into that, right? Because there's so much information and things are easily able to be, one, misspoken, two, just factually inaccurate. And all of us have the ability to bring forward or to speak about something from a perspective that can be altered, right? Especially when it comes to these translations of the Medu. I guess that's just what it is. So when it comes to looking up research, you want to be able to fact check yourself. So sometimes you'll find a misattribution to the of Plutarch, of Isis and Osir, where I just showed how it just speaks about the here when it speaks about the do not fall short of the writings that are called the hieroglyphs, and sometimes they'll say that this writing of Isis and Osiris is where the oldest word for hieratic exists, and that's incorrect. That was something that was added in later by Latin scribes when they were translating this writing, and they paraphrased and they added hieratic into these writings, and so again, something like that happens all the time, where people start to add things and take things away, right? The further away from the source that it gets. So it implies something that is inaccurate, right? And I had to dig because again, just initially looking into the research, it was brought to me that Isis and Osiris, that was the source of hieratic. But as you see, I go into the Greek. I'm looking at the actual Greek here to see what it says itself, and it turned out that was incorrect, and I had to correct that. So that happens all the time. Don't just take information that you're looking up and just take it for face value. Dig into it. So where is this hieratic word? All right, so I showed you the source for hieroglyphic. So now you have the two sources right here. Boom, right there for you, of the oldest word, the oldest sources where hieroglyphic is used. All right, so where is this hieratic word? And for this, I'm going to take you to the Clement of Alexandria. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There he is. We'll see what this person has to say about the Medu. And so this is in a writing titled Stromata, Stromata, which dates around 200 CE. And so this is another very important person in the constructing and the craftsmanship of this matrix. Here's another very important person. Why are these people important? We need to understand why these people are important. The reason why any single person that I'm bringing up has an importance is because of their ability to influence. It's just that simple. It doesn't matter what you're influencing, but the fact that these people are influencing a large mass of people shows power, right? Because once that begins, then now, just like anything else, gossip, right? Anyone can just go outside and tell someone something, make it up, and just within a small group, and eventually that thing will make it back to you twisted than when you first gave it, but it'll always make its way back to you, right? So those who understand language, it's very easy to, if you want to start something, you create what it is and you speak about it, right? And especially for if you want to find someone who may be doing that, that's a method that was implemented, right? We're just going to talk as if I'm saying something that I want to see if it's going to make its way back to me, and it always does, right? So within these writings and within me bringing forward these people of influence, it's very important for us to know what really happened. So yes, Clement of Alexandria, circa 150 CE to 215 CE, around there. So the Clement of Alexandria taught that faith was essential, not only for salvation, but also for gnosis, right? If you all go back to my session that I dug into some of what they call the Gnostic writings, and showcasing, the secret gospel of Mary, the gospel of Thomas, Didymus, the twin brother of Jesus, and showing, where the Gnostics began to, the early Christians, and how they started to create this word, the Gnostic or the Gnosis, and turned it into something negative, right? But here, Clement of Alexandria, what he did was, again, knowing the power of words, right? So he taught that faith was essential not only for salvation, but also for gnosis, spiritual insight, and mystical understanding. He took the term gnosis from the Gnostics, who he opposed, right? He opposed the Gnostics, right? But he took the term gnosis and gave it a more Christian meaning, right? This is what they did with all of these words, okay? Clement distinguished between the two types of Christians, those who live by God's law, the pistic, and those who live by the gospel, the Gnostics. So he took away the Gnostics of the ones who, right, the rogue Christians, and he took that word and said, "Nah, we're the real Gnostics, the ones who actually follow the gospel. We're the Gnostics. We're practicing discipline and love." His idea of gnosis later influenced the rise of Christian monasticism in Egypt. So he was extremely influential in bringing forward the thought process, right there, 200 CE, of the Cometians and the MDWNTR, right? He was the Clement of Alexandria, was a very important person to someone else that I also taught on, right? In one of the sessions, the God King session. which is Eusebius, right? If you all remember Eusebius and the part that he played in the reconstructing of the timeline when it comes to the Natiru, right, and the King's List, Eusebius, he actually cited that Clement of Alexandria, was both his master and his benefactor, right? Describing him as a blessed father, right? So Eusebius spoke highly of Clement, right? And if you all were in that session, you understand the influence that Eusebius had as well. So the method and the levels of influence by these Christian Greeks and even prior, right? But the further you go back, the less corrupted it gets. But yeah, Clement of Alexandria was a huge influence on Eusebius, who made a super major matrix move in shifting the dates of the Neter, right? Which made people start to say the Neter are just principles that don't exist. How can a being live that long? How can people live that long? We don't have that. And the whole thing why people say the Neter don't exist today, Eusebius was a huge influence under that. And one of his teachers was Clement of Alexandria. So let me now, let me read this. I don't want to take you to book 5 yet, but here's chapter 1. Chapter 1, book 5, chapter 1 of the Clement of Alexandria, STROMATA, 200 CE. Chapter 1, preface, the author's object, the utility of written compositions. Once the beginning, that you may read them under your hand and may be able to preserve them, whether written compositions are not to be left behind at all. If they are, by whom? And if the former, what need there is for written compositions? And if the latter is the composition of them to be assigned to earnest men, or the opposite? If it were certainly ridiculous for one to disapprove of the writing of earnest men and approve of those who are not such, engaging in the work of composition. Theopompus and Timaeus, who composed fables and slanders, and Epicurus, the leader of atheism, and Hipponax and Archilochus are to be allowed to write in their own shameful manner. But he who proclaims the truth is to be prevented from leaving behind him what is to benefit posterity. It is a good thing, I reckon, to leave to posterity good children. This is the case with children of our bodies. But words are the progeny of the soul. But words are the progeny of the soul. But words are the progeny of the soul. Hence we call those who have instructed us fathers. Directly taken from the Medu. Wisdom is a communicative and philanthropic thing. Accordingly, Solomon says, my son, if you receive the saying of my commandment and hide it with you, your ear shall hear wisdom. Proverbs 2, 1-2, right? Directly from the SEBAIT. He points out that the word that is sown is hidden in the soul of the learner, as in the earth, and this is, methinks, and this is spiritual planting. Wherefore also he adds, and you shall apply your heart to understanding. Apply your heart to understanding, and apply it for the admonition of your son. All SEBAIT, right? And I just walked everyone through Plutarch, giving direct clarity on the wisest Greeks learning from the Cometians and copying their ways, their teachings, their information, and using it to create their own curriculum, right? So of course, apply your heart to understanding, apply your Eve so you can Sejemu to understand and apply it for the admonition of your son. For soul, methinks, joined with soul and spirit with spirit, and the sowing of the word will make that which is sown grown, and germinate. And everyone who is instructed is in respect of subjection, the son of his instructor. Son, says he, forget not my laws. Proverbs 3:1. Okay, so this is the introduction of this stromata, and just so you can all get a greater idea. I always love to show introductions because that really lays the standard for what you're getting into, right? So this is a Christian who wanted to take the word Gnostic and reapply it to those who follow the Gospels. So here we go. Chapter 4, Stromata, Book 5, Chapter 4. But since they will believe neither in what is good justly, nor in knowledge unto salvation, right? Speaking about the Cometians, we ourselves reckoning what they claim as belonging to us, because all things are God's, and especially since what is good proceeded from us to the Greeks, let us handle those things as they are capable of hearing. For intelligence or rectitude, this great crowd estimates not by truth, but by what they are delighted with. And they will be pleased not more with other things than what is like themselves. For he who is still blind and dumb, not having understanding, or the undazzled and keen vision of the contemplative soul, which the Savior confers, like the uninitiated at the mysteries, or the unmusical at dances, not being yet pure and worthy of the pure truth, but still discordant and disordered and material, must stand outside of the divine choir. For we compare spiritual things with spiritual, 1 Corinthians 2:13. Wherefore, in accordance with the method of concealment, the truly sacred word, the Logos, truly divine and most necessary for us, deposited in the shrine of truth, was by the Egyptians indicated by what were called among the Idiata, and by the Hebrews by the veil. Only the consecrated, that is, those who devoted to God, circumcised in the desire of the passions for the sake of love to that which is alone divine, were allowed access to them. For Plato also thought it not lawful for the impure to touch the pure. Thence the prophecies and in enigmas exist incontently to all and sundry, but purifications and previous instructions. For the muse was not then greedy of grain or mercenary, nor were Terpsichore's sweet honey-toned, silvery soft-voiced strains made merchandise of. Now those instructed among the Egyptians learned first of all that the style of the Egyptian grammata, which is called epistolographic, and second, the hieratic, which is the sacred scribe's practice, and finally, and last of all, the hieroglyphic, of which one kind, which is by the first elements, is literal, kyriologic, and the other symbolic. Of the symbolic, one kind speaks literally by imitation, and another writes as it were figuratively, and another is quite allegorical, using certain enigmas. Wishing to express the sun in writing, they make a circle, and a moon, a figure like the moon, like its proper shape. But in using the figurative style, by transposing and transferring, by changing and transforming in many ways as suits them, they draw characters. And relating the praises of the kings in theological myths, they write in anaglyphs. Let the following stand as a specimen of the third species, the enigmatic. For the rest of the stars, on account of their oblique course, they have figured that the bodies of serpents, but the sun, like that of a beetle, because it makes a round figure of ox dung and rolls it before its face. And they say that this creature lives 6 months underground, and the other division of the year above ground, and emits its seed into the ball, and brings forth, and that there is not who have spoken of divine things. Both barbarians and Greeks have veiled the first principles of things. Have veiled the first principle of things. and delivered the truth in enigmas, and delivered the truth in enigmas and symbols and allegories and metaphors and such like tropes. Delivered the truth in enigmas and symbols and allegories and metaphors and such like tropes under the veil. Such also are the oracles among the Greeks. And the Pythian Apollo is called Loxias, and the maxims of those among the Greeks called wise men in a few sayings indicate the unfolding of matter of considerable importance. Such certainly is the maxim spare time, either because life is short and we ought not to expend this time in vain, or on the other hand, it bids you spare your personal expenses, so that though you live many years, necessaries may not fail you. Similarly, also the maxim, know yourself, shows many things, both that you are mortal and that you were born a human being, and that also in comparison with the other excellences of life, you are of no account because you say that you are rich or renowned, or on the other hand, that being rich or renowned, you are not honored on account of your advantages alone. And it says, know for what you were born, and whose image you are, and what is your essence, and what your creation, and what your relation to God, and the like. And the Spirit says by Isaiah the prophet, I will give you treasures hidden dark. Isaiah 45:3. Now wisdom, hard to hunt, is the treasures of God, and unfailing riches. Now remember the SEBAIT that I just showed. But those taught in theology by those prophets philosophize much of a way of a hidden sense. I mean, Orpheus, Linus, Mucius, Homer, Hesiod, and those in the fashion wise. The persuasive style of poetry is for them a veil for the many. The persuasive style of poetry is for them a veil for the many. One more time. The persuasive style of poetry is for them a veil for the many. Dreams and signs are all more or less obscure to men, not from jealousy, for it were wrong to conceive a God as subject to passions, but in order that research, introducing to the understanding of enigmas, may haste to the discovery of truth. So they lay it out extremely clear for everyone how much of a veil and that these philosophers, these poets, these writers studied the Cometians, right? And our teachings of the Shatau, the hidden writings, right? All about, it's what it's all about, right? So when the Greeks are there and they're learning that, and they're learning the language, and they're studying the MDWNTR, you see that they're studying it, right? So as they are doing that, here we see that this is all being placed within the creation of their stories, of their scriptures, of their writings, right? And how much intent went into this part here, because I can almost guarantee that most people don't know what an enigma is, what an allegory is, what a metaphor is. These types of writings that are used, and they tell you to create veils, right? The metaphor that is used to speak and teach creates a veil underneath the primary awareness, right? And you hear the Jed speak about this a couple times when it comes to my tones, and you know, I'll say something, but I'm really saying something else, and something else, which is a different form. But even when it comes to allegory and metaphor, if you don't understand what these things are, then you won't be able to recognize it and become aware of it, right? Everyone who's dug in any type of knowledge and knows anything should know that you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And keeping that at the forefront of consciousness does a lot of help. It assists a lot, right? You don't know what you don't know. And so if you're unaware, like if I'm putting intent into writing something and I'm bringing it forward and I'm putting metaphor here, allegory here, I'm doing triple back and forth entendre here, but I'm saying a sentence that is only being received. You can only receive that which you're aware of, right? And this goes very deep within the language, and I'm just showing you the intent that the Greeks went into. The intent that they went into their writings, and that they studied us as poets, as artists, right, as masters of words, that is used to influence the reality around us. Right? So this right here is very, very important. So you see, as I show here, this is the oldest source for the word hieratic coming into speech, right? Which is here. Here's the Greek for you, because again, when I look at these translations, I want to look at the language it's written in. And so here it is. Here's the hieratikos, hieratic, accusative, singular, feminine. Word list, hieratikos, priestly. And again, the hieratic is priestly. They'll say it's priestly, but if I pull up a writing of just a letter, and it's in this hieratic language and don't have anything to do with a priest, why is it still called hieratic if it's not priestly, right? They call the language hieratic. Just pull up the language, no matter what it says, it don't have to have anything to do with a priest, and it's still hieratic, right? So again, this is just to destroy that matrix, and to also elucidate and enlighten you all into just a little bit of some of the depth that went into the languages that today we still say hieroglyph, right? We still say hieratic. These are Greek words, right? And if you go back to my music class that I gave and I taught on the techni, which then became the arts from the tekken, which is TEHUTI, which creates the arts and then goes into the muses, which creates your music, right? And the philology, and here the philosophia, right? The love of logia, or the love of letters, and the love of knowledge. So taking those two together, you can do a lot. So if you're at a point where you're learning, and you take that, right, these tools that everyone is being given to equip yourselves for power, you either take it to go build something with it, or you build something to destroy, right? And it's far easier to accept. And there's actual scientific studies done within the brain to show the effect of something negative versus something positive. And a negative thought can actually be up to 4 times stronger than a positive thought, which of course makes all the sense in the world, because it's easy to do all the isfet, right? That's easy. It's easy to do all the isfet and tear something down, and that actually works on an actual frequency, tonal level, when it comes to things that are more so reflection of isfet or reflections of ma'at. So it does take more intent and focus of the ma'at side than it does to be on the isfet side, for sure, 1000%, right? And we see that. We definitely see that. So here is your oldest source for the hieratic, right? Those who are educated among the Egyptians, first of all, learned the Egyptian method of letters, which is called epistolary. Secondly, the hieratic, which is called hieroglyphic. Secondly, the hieratic, which is called hieroglyphic. And lastly, the hieroglyphic, which is literal by its first elements and symbolic. And the symbolic, which is literal by imitation, which is written in a metaphorical way and which is allegorized by certain riddles. Who understands what that means? All right. So the MDWNTR is the name of the script, right, of the hieratic and the hieroglyphic. It's the MDWNTR. And so now you all have the sources, the 3 sources of hieroglyphics and hieratic here. And alongside the sources showing you what they were speaking on directly when it comes to the language and how much they understood the depth that went into the MDWNTR, metaphors, allegories, something being literal, something being abstract, just the depth that went into the language, which again, why I brought forward the writings of HORI, because he showcases all of it at a high level, because he was being challenged. And yeah, so this right here is very important and very deep. So I hope that you all was able to receive some new things from this session, and I was able to walk you all through effectively the sources of where the MDWNTR began to take a turn and twist it into the hieroglyphic and into the hieratic, and who was responsible for that, and what they were teaching at the time that they were changing the name of the language, and what was on their mindset while constructing this language and taking the teachings of the MDWNTR in every single way to create their doctrines. So hopefully I did a sufficient job in that. So Tua, very much for your attention. Without your attention, this does not exist. This is Language Barriers, Part 2.
Uncle Joss and Neb, great one. Do Uncle Joss and Neb, great ones. Do ma'at.
Uncle Joss and Neb, great ones. Do ma'at. Tua. All right. Hotep Enu, everyone, for your attention. Hope you all enjoyed this session. And if you did, just please show your support. Everyone hit the like button as well. So, Hotep. Peace and love, great brother.
Hey, peace. So I was trying to get the mic ready. Can we get the claps? We got some claps around here? Let me see, man. Yeah, there we go. Come on, man.
You gotta keep teaching like this. I don't play with pseudo.
Do I? Let me say something really quick, PTAH. The way you are able to go into the SEBAIT, into the MEDU, and to investigate, and to reveal what the Greeks been doing, and hey man, you got to be very serious to create our own language, to manipulate someone's. Take that. They know that you're poetic. They know that you use metaphors, double entendres, all these things, and then bam, go and do some manipulation and try to downplay it all, but still try to use the hekau at the same time. I'm curious to know how you even go in, man, to even investigate things like this, man. Like true investigation, 1000%. And like I told Saba, and I'll say to you as well, man, what's the expression when you find this, man? When you find something like that, and you're searching on your own, and you find these type of findings, what does that do to you? Like, what does that do to the coup, man? And to realize that you know how we always say, like, you know, they jack our style, they jack us and manipulate it and turn it into something else and do all of this. Like, that's on a basic level, but this type of level shows you the root of the history of that. Like, it's so much deeper than just you know, they exploiting your rap, they exploiting your you know, whatever style one has created within this current culture right now. Man, that doesn't amount to what was already been jacked and manipulated and completely downgraded, spit on in public eye, but at the same time go in and, like I said, use it the nerve to think they can use my magic on me. That's kind of what I hear, man, when I say that, right? So dua to you, great brother, for going into depth like this. And to know that artist, that poetic side, the creativity is naturally within the DNA, within our Pa'ut's culture, within our Pa'ut's DNA. It just speaks for itself, man. So dua to you, Ani. This was is there a part 3? Because this you left this out of the first one, so I can only imagine what you was holding back on part 1 and already seeing what you wanted to release in part 2. This was super dope, great brother, super nefer. Dua to you, Hotep Enu.
Hotep Henu, great brother. Tua, for that, yes, there is a part 3, and part 3 will be going into more so of the demotic. All right, so first one is just showing where the Medu first started to attain a different Ren from who they call the father of history, right? And then this one is showing the sources of the oldest attestations of the hieroglyphic, those 2 sources, as well as the oldest source for hieratic. And so part 3, I will go into a little bit more of the hieratic, and then I also will go into the demotic, give a complete Trinity Kemet session of the language barriers that created this matrix. So, yes, to our great brother for your great Medu, and just to answer your question about what happens sometimes. Sometimes, tears come because as I'm on my own journey of digging and really learning language and linguistics, the deeper I go into it, the more I'm able to recognize and see how much we are unable to communicate effectively. The deeper I dig into the language and what goes into the foundational roots of the hidden veils that influence the large majority of everyone on the planet, it just shows me everyone just shrinks in age, and it's like it becomes very emotional because so many things come to mind is how can we begin to build if we cannot talk? And our ability to communicate is so small, and it just gets smaller the deeper I dig into the language and see what all went into creating it, and just how far away as a collective that we are from where we were. It's a very emotional thing, and I'm very grateful. I always express gratitude for it because I can only do my part in advancing the language for those who may be around me by just advancing it myself. And so, yeah, it's a very emotional process, digging deeper and deeper and deeper and learning more and more, because you just realize how far away people are from any form of control. When people think they have control, people think they have free will to do what they want. They think they're making their own decisions. They think the forefront consciousness thought process that's aware is what's leading them. So yeah, it's a very emotional process, for sure. Anger comes up. It's emotional. It's a lot of emotions that happen. So Tua for asking, and yeah, it's not like a bright thing for me. It's like it's very emotional. So yeah, Tua, great brother, for asking that. Tua for your great Medu, and yeah, for being Sajin, and being able to perceive and receive a lot of what's missed. So Henu to you, great brother.
Set peace, great brothers. Can you hear me?
Peace, you're a little
Yeah,
low.
we can hear you. Give him some sounds, Atef. Give him some sounds.
Better keep teaching like this.
Yeah, you got to get rid of that. We got better keep learning, brother. Keep learning. Keep studying.
Hey, listen, you already know that's part of the heck out, you know? Everything is saying something without saying nothing. But yeah, great brother, this is phenomenal work. Two off for digging deep. And new to the material, of course, for what they left behind for us, and I'm grateful for the work that you put in, great brother, in dissecting and going as deep as you do with these scribal sessions. And that was a great question, Jed. And there's always a part. There's always more, right? I love that. I'm glad that you said that there's a part 3. Definitely. I love how when you started and you were talking about HORI, and how you pointed out that even when you're correcting, that you when you're correcting or you're demonstrating, that you maintain the standard of Ma'at. Always. So that was really great. I love that. That was actually phenomenal. And that was one of the things that I experienced very early when watching Saba and his debates, how he always maintained that standard of Ma'at when he was addressing and teaching, basically, because that's really what it was, even though it was called a debate. You know, Saba was teaching and he was upholding the laws of Ma'at by example. So two out for that, great brother. I love that. Yeah, that's a great papyrus that you introduced us to a couple of weeks ago. So two out for that, great brother. I definitely look forward to getting deeper into that. Two out for going into the etymology of art and demonstrating and showing us that etymology, but also by showing us that with your example as well. You know, with the things that you do and you teach us and show us and guide us. So two up for that, great brother. You're a phenomenal artist. So what's up, new to you? And two up for that, because that was really deep. Just to be able to show that, you know, because when we think of like something like martial art or something like that, we don't think of it in terms of that. So two out for pointing that out and bringing that back to the forefront. Definitely gonna look up the SEBAIT of NAKHAT, if I'm saying it right. Definitely, you know, that's another thing that I learned from Sada, and I'm learning it from you as well, is when y'all say something or you speak about something, definitely it was Saba who spoke about these books, Miriam Litcham and all of this. I had never even heard of it, you know. So reintroducing us back to our culture and these I don't even want to call them hidden gems, but you know, just the writings left behind by our ancestors, the instructions and all of the left writing. So two out for that. Two out for definitely showing the origins as Saba has shown us and as you're showing us. And you've done this a lot too as well, with touching on a lot of the Greek stuff, a lot of the Greek writings, and the style jacking, the jacking. You've done that a lot, great brother. So chill out for that. Yeah, that's phenomenal work. You've been doing that since the beginning as well. Like really, really, really great. So definitely keep up the good work with that because, like I tell somebody, if somebody took something from you and you want to get it back, where would you go? You wouldn't go to somebody else. You would go back to them. You go back to the person that actually took the thing from you. So, you up for that and for the phenomenal work that you do in dissecting the writings of the Greeks, and that was phenomenal as well. And just introducing us to the origins of the first writings of what they call the hieroglyphs. DIODORUS. It's great, man. I'm grateful for you, great brother, because I think that I'm not even gonna say I think. I know that you're correct in that the way that we speak and that we're not communicating effectively. And the fact that we can't communicate effectively, those of them that know where all of this originated and came from, those are the ones that are controlling us. It's very, very, very important that we pay attention to what we say, the talks, and how we talk and speak to ourselves, and how we speak to our family and friends and, close people, just in general. It's important that we understand that is the Hekaru. And as we famously point out, great brother the dead, the Hekaru is really real. So true off that, great brother, this was phenomenal work. I definitely look forward to part 3 because I know there's always more. It seems like you cut it short, but I understand, and just keep up the great work, good brother. And I'm definitely gonna look up that SEBAIT because I don't know where that's at. That's not. I don't remember seeing that in any of the more popular books. Is it the NAKHAT, the SEBAIT?
I'm not sure. Like how I have my sources, I'm not sure if it's in Merriam Webster's. I think it may be though. I can fact check it for you real quick.
Okay. Well, yeah, great brother. That was great. And I mean, it might be something that I'm seeing, and because I'm learning. I'm a baby, so keep teaching and keep guiding, and keep exposing the faith, and because I think it's very important. It's definitely very important that we trace things back to the origin. I was telling him yesterday that my son, he's he asked about the book, the law of one, and we talked a little bit about it. But he's been taking me and dropping me off to work, and we've been talking about just stuff in general. And he pointed out our brother's book, and we had a great conversation about it. And then after work that day, I jumped straight to Saba's class because Saba already taught about that, and that prompted him to ask more questions. And I said, hey, give me a question and I'll send it in to Saba, and we'll, so it's very, very, very important that we get back to the origins of things. And the Medu is probably, if not the most important thing that we need to get back to and understand the origins of, I don't even want to call it literature, but of the Medu. And two off of that trick question. Because when you asked that, I was saying to myself, that's the method, but we asked him, it looked like demonic, then I don't know, it's erratic, I think it's erratic. My mate was in here at the time, and she said, it just looked like lines to me. And I just laughed because, as much as I think, I say I'm a baby and I'm learning, I'm like, she's definitely got, a lot of work to do as well. So, we'll tap in to you, great brother. This is phenomenal work, and I'm going to give you another round of applause for this. Is absolutely phenomenal.
great brother, Uncle Justin Neb, for your great met do. I appreciate all that you said. And yes, it definitely is very deep when it comes to our language and how we speak to each other, and especially how we speak to ourselves. Because once you change that, you change how you speak to others, and that's just like one of those simple things that's like so difficult, for a large majority of people to understand, because of just the frequency of making excuses or pointing fingers and blaming and not taking accountability. So yeah, there is yeah, it's a job that isn't pretty at all, and it's something that there's a SEBAIT that teaches about building a dam against the heart for those waters to crash up against, and that SEBAIT saved me so much, because it really is that. Like, it really is that. And just even my own ability to my studies of language, and just whatever level I'm at, whatever level that may be, to where I'm affected and saddened because of once I was able to unlock. And I always speak about every teaching has layers to it. Whatever our understanding at whatever level we're at on any particular topic or subject, there's layers to it. And when it comes to language, that's infinite. Like, that's something that we'll be learning and studying every single day for whatever remaining time of life that we have here. It will never reach the point of complete understanding of what really took place, because of how deep it is. And one has to, it doesn't matter how much you study, you look at it 1,000 times and you won't be able to receive all that stuff that's hidden, right, until it becomes aware. And that right there is the difficult part, creating yourself to become aware of the thing at the deeper level. And whenever that happens, it's a major, because everything else just filters like a flash of life. Like, oh, now I see where that went wrong, where that went wrong, and where that went wrong that I didn't see before. And it comes down to my own inability to properly communicate, and whatever, like I said, whatever level I may be at, and it doesn't matter what anyone else is at, because it just doesn't. Like, it's always going to be reflective back on self. And I just see how much like I went into how many words are in English, right? And then how many words on average do we use? And when it comes to those words, how many words are unique? And it just diminishes real fast. So how can we I could speak on this topic for a very long time and go very deep, because it really is something that is here. It's right here. It's just like blatant right there. That's just unseen. This is just unable to be seen. And there's just infinite amount of layers to it. And so knowing, the power of words, right? We know about the hekau, and how that's the heck, the a hook, and it represents royalty and leadership and kingship and control, right? And that was why Duma'at was so important as a standard for those who know the power of the subconscious realms, which is that's the large majority of what makes us move, what makes us do what we do, what makes us think what we think. What we think we know. All that is subconscious. What we're just aware of being able to do, and just this consciousness where we're just aware and able to grab something, is like what we're able to see. It's a very, very, very small percentage of the entire thing. And when it comes to our words and what we're speaking, it just it's so small. And the words that we do use is usually rooted into something that is taking away from our own power and ability to speak into existence, to speak reality, to create a thought in the mind, which again is highly based upon our own language, because what you can't perceive what you don't know, right? You can't do it. Someone has to walk you through different expressions to be able to visualize a thing, and to take that visualization and to see it, whatever it is that you want to bring forward. And if you can see it, then you can bring it forward. If you can't see it, you have a difficult time seeing that thing, then you know that's where the work needs to be. But if you can see what you want to do, where you want to be, how you want to do it, now all one has to do is just change themselves to fit the environment that they see. And we get it backwards to where we think that we have to change the things around us to make that thing. But in reality, the secret is whatever that vision is that you see, whatever that manifestation is that you want to bring forth, all one has to do is change themselves to be a reflection of that thing. Put yourself in position, change yourself to fit that environment. And it always goes internal. And that takes full accountability. And then it gives you, that's where the superpower comes in, of being able to bring something forward. So to our great brother for your ma'ah, your observation, and your dedication and loyalty to ma'at, and just being a great example of one who puts an intention in their speech and shows results in how one can begin to change how we speak, because we become more conscious of the words and the tones that we're using, especially to ourselves. Those are the most important, of what you speak to yourself. Because when you're not verbally speaking, you're still mentally, internally speaking. That voice that's always there, it's always answering yourself. You're asking yourself and you're answering yourself. That voice is another unconscious thing where people don't really recognize what that voice is saying. But reprogramming on a subconscious level then doesn't force you to be overly conscious, right? Because you've reprogrammed on a subconscious level. So now it just happens naturally. You don't have to try too hard to do the thing. And then you also see it reflected in your upesh and how you speak when you're in a upesh. So that's another way to see where you're at subconsciously, is to keep track of your dreams, your upesh, and see how you're speaking in your upesh. That's your subconscious speaking. So if you keep track of that, you can see how much programming that you're doing internally. But yes, HORI is one of my I work very close with him. And he's definitely deepened my understanding of the Medu Netre by reading his writings. But yeah, to our great brother, yeah, this is a very powerful topic. That's why I wanted to just really walk it down and show, you know, where these things begin to switch itself, and just how much they were into the poetry. Like as a poet, I know what goes into articulating a thought and creating it in a way to get across an idea subconsciously. I understand that on an extremely deep level because I do it. And one who doesn't do it or doesn't listen for it or recognize it in tones, it's just like battle rap. You put a regular person just listen to regular rap into a battle rap, they ain't gonna catch none of the bars. They're not gonna know what nothing's being said. But a battle rapper, they're catching it left and right. Oh, he said, it's because they're trained to hear it and pick it up. And we just have to train our ears, our sejem, and our eyes, on my eye, to see these things and to hear them, so that we can become aware of them. And once you become aware of them, now you can start to do it yourself and control it. So it's a very powerful thing. So yeah, what we're doing, what you're doing, what Dejet is doing, is some very deep work. And of course, you know, Saba TEHUTI overstands more than all of us what goes into this. So yeah, it's we don't have no time to yeah, just communicate. Like whatever thing that we're doing and speaking or going through, and communication is always the answer. Always. And 9 times out of 10, whatever contention that may be happening is usually founded on a miscommunication or an assumption of something. Right? We do that a lot when we speak. We assume that the other person knows what we're talking about, and that creates chaos, because we can't assume that person knows what's going on in my head if I can't properly articulate what's going on in my head. But we assume that we just, because we have this like mental ability to like project thoughts, and we can do that. But yeah, no, like we must really know that within the SEBAIT, to not assume, to be meter, to be exact, to be precise. And that's just one of the foundational things that I've noticed is just that assumption that takes place for just regular conversation. And even, you know, when I was on Sonetter and that brother kept asking me about a totem, and brother, you know what do you mean, like from this word here? Like, I don't, well, what are you saying? Like, I don't know what you're saying. It's like, oh, well, you don't, and so, oh, the brother's running, he don't, like, I'm trying to understand what language, you sound like a Greek man to me. I don't, totem, so let me understand what you're saying. And no, there's too much assumption, and not enough clarity. But that'll take that takes time and patience and calmness to work through those conversations. And like you said, Saba showcased that at the highest level. You know, so yeah, to everyone for supporting and for being a part of these sessions and taking in my teachings on the MDWNTR. This is what assists me in my own journeys to really begin to learn just how important, if it's nothing else anyone can take from any of these sessions, is just place the value of the words that you speak to yourself at the ultimate priority of whatever, anything else that you have going on. The words that you speak to yourself, I will always teach and promote to place that at the very top, because without that being meter, being exact and right, everything else is not going to work. It's just not. We have to start at the space where everything else comes from. So speak to yourself and study that. Like, when you're not just gonna figure it out, just start to change. Like, study people who study that for a living, and really go into the technical aspects, because we're biological beings who are affected by words on a heavy level, right? So study that, and begin to reteach how you speak to yourselves, and then from there, everything else will just fit into place, because just our everyday speech, we're attracting what we want to. It's intentional. Every word that's used is intentional, for a purpose of getting across something. So Uncle Jasaneb the Jet Usir Sakim Ma'a Karu, to all the great Karu of the House of ATTON, and of course you great brothers for standing with me with what we're doing, and being great pillars of Ma'at, and just great great brothers to show what it looks like to really place a priority within yourself and our immediate surroundings. So yeah, to our very much great brothers, and everyone in the chat, Hotep. And I'll show the oh, sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said Hotep Henu to you, great brother.
Hotep Henu. All right, so let me show the great support. Share my screen, and then we will begin to conclude. So here we are from Nook who sends his 3s and 3s. 333 for Hotep, Sim, Sekim, Nefer, Heku, Anki Im Ma'at. Hotep Ma'akaru, Nefer Ma'at. Hotep Dua, Nefer Sin, Sekim, Neter, Ani, Anku Jasaneb Ma'at. Hotep Henu to the great Nukpu, great brother. Tua for all of your wonderful words of Medu, and great reciprocity and support, great brother. Tua for your consistency and being a great representation. All right, next we have Robert Williams, who sends in 2072 for Greek Veil of Medu, Tua. Nini Ka, great brother. Hotep Henu, much power, Sakim and Ankh to you. Tua for your consistency, great brother. Hotep. All right, next we have Amun and Amunet, $10 for Tua or Sin Patah for your dedication and consistency. Nini Ka, Tua to both of you for supporting and for all the works that you are doing, seen and unseen. Hotep Ma'at. And next we have Gabriela Lopez, who sends in 999 for Sunday's class. Dua, Gabby, for all that you do, your great consistency, and for supporting the sessions. Appreciate you greatly, sister, for that. And Tua for being the great Hemet of the Jed, and the great Mut of the Sa and Sat that you are Mut to, so Uncle Jasaneb. And next we have from Fix Dua, Anki Ma'at, Uncle Jasaneb, Tua HOA 666. Hotep to the great Fix, who was the first one in the room today. Hotep to you, great brother. Tua for your consistency, for your great support, and for your reprogramming of speech of Medu. Great brother, Hotep to you. All right, next we have Angela Gates, Great Sinet Hetep Au, $10. Hotep to you, Angela. 2 up for just your consistency. Much due up for your consistency and for supporting the way that you do, and for studying the way that you do. You, even with people falling away, you stayed, and you stay consistent. So that definitely shows your sekem, your strength to combat this matrix. So Uncle Jasineb to you. And next we have $20 support from Kathy Buys. Support the House of ATTON. So to our Kathy for your support and your consistency every month and supporting the House of ATTON as you do. So Uncle Jasineb to you. And this is the Meru, the great supporters of the House of ATTON for this session, number 20, May 25th, 2025. Hotep. Tef, you have some sounds for me, great brother?
I don't play with pseudos.
Hotep Ma'at, to the great Meru of the House of ATTON. Tua to you all for supporting the sessions and the House of ATTON, and much merry to all of you. All right, and so yes, we can go ahead and begin the close out for this session. And Dejay, we'll start with you, and then I'll go after you, great brother.
Hey, peace. Hey, PTAH, me, ATEN, TEHUTI. Dua to you, great brother. Once again, I appreciate your depth and your passion, dedication to the material, and defending it on the forefront, right? Consistently. So dua to you, great brother. Definitely appreciate you. And may you continue to just consistently thrive within your gift, within your creativity, and may you get everything that you desire, great brother. Shouts out to the great brother Tef, Kim Ma'at. It's always a privilege to be up here with you, great brother. Definitely got much merry for you, great brother, and all that you do. Dua to you. Shouts out to all our supporters, everybody that gave today. Dua to you, because you're investing in and giving good energy to what you're a part of. And if you know it can't be, if you know that others are not putting that energy to build it anywhere else, why not build it here? So dua to you all. Dua to everybody in the chat. Shouts out to everybody in the chat, everybody who watching in the future. Shouts out to our Sabatahudi Amun Hotep Ra for definitely being inspiration to us. Shouts out to him and his Naterts, his Aout. Definitely grateful for everybody that shows much merry to the House of ATTON. May Ra grant you and your family health and prosperity. May your mind be established on the foundations of God, and may you all rise and come forth as conscious light like the divine Ra, who rise and shine for everyone. I am the Jet Sajim Ma'at Empower Kuf, everybody in the Tiru, Uncle Jason L, Hotep Anu, Neferu Pesh. Dua.
Hotep. You gonna say something, Hotep?
No, go ahead, great brother.
Hotep Ma'at, Eri, Jet Usir, to all of you, for your attention and your observation. Without that, it does not exist. And yes, the SEBAIT of NAKHAT is actually in the literature of ancient Egypt by William Kelly Simpson, and it's on page 221.
To our great brother, okay. To our for that.
Yes, any great brother, and also for those of you all, because you all should have that book, and that's a book the Greater Tef has been going into. So I want to have that, and you can see NAKHAT right into HORI, which is Hori's son. So yes, to everyone, may you all continue to be within your studies every day, learning, and as one of the great teachings for the scribes is to not remain idle. And just keep digging and asking questions. The great ancestors are with us, and the works that we are doing is guided, and it is up to us to be able to fulfill the thought vibration of building something physical. Is all of us, by utilizing and creating that vision, that imagery, and changing ourselves to be able to stand in that environment. Right? houseofatten.org and MDWNTR.MEDIA, for those of you who appreciate the tones. I'm reaching out to Sanetter this week to schedule the next session there. Next week, that's when I want to do it for, so I'll keep everyone updated with that, so we can expect this coming up week for another Sanetter session. And this time, in the teaching I'm going to be bringing forward, again, it's just to take and show. It's going to be very powerful, but also just to reestablish that the Natiru are physical beings, and any Kemetic teacher who's teaching that is teaching Isfeds. It's a lie. It's just a straight up lie. So I want to and will go there this coming up week and teach. We'll see what happens. So everyone stay tuned into that. To everyone who's being active in the different ways that we are. Nukpu, to our great brother, for being active in the Discord, as well as Amunet. I saw you ask a question in there, and there wasn't a response to the question that. So I definitely want to see more activity in the Discord, for sure. That's what it's there for us to communicate. For us to be able to communicate outside of these sessions, outside of the chat Saturday and Sunday, right? So go in the Discord and build. Nukpu is a great example. You see what Nukpu does. We know what he's looking at and studying because he posts it. So to our great brother for being a great example of that, and I want more people to do that. And also we'll create an accountability system for yourself to make sure that you have something to bring forward, right? Us here on the panel, we have to make sure that we have something to bring forward every week. And it's great for everyone to create an accountability system for themselves that doesn't just rely on whether or not they do it. right? So yeah, it's only going to assist everyone. So get the Discord active. And yeah, reach out for any questions regarding the House of ATTON. If you all want to assist in any particular thing, reach out. I'm working with Minty Hotep, as well as a few other great Karu. So Tua, continue to keep building, keep reaching out, bring your skill set, bring your HEMU. And if you want to improve on any particular thing, reach out to me. You see all the things everything that you see me do, I teach. So if there's any one particular thing that you like, from the tones, the music, the production, the engineering, to the animations, to the imagery, to study, to anything, I teach all those techniques. And so reach out. And with that, I'll conclude with the Medu. Sakim M. Arit, Badr Ka'a, Simu Hatuna Tiru, Pert Intotep. I obtain the power to do what pleases my Ka. May the hearts of the Natiru lead me. I come forth in offering. Hotep Ma'at.
Hotep, peace, great brother. Tua to all the supporters. Peace and love to everybody in the chat. Great brothers, Hotep Henu to our great teachers, Saba TEHUTI, Hotep Ra, and his Aout. Peace and love to great brothers, Jim and his Aout. Peace and love to Tahati TEHUTI and his Aout. Peace and love to everybody in the chat. Peace and love, Robert Williams, Minty Hotep, Look, everybody that participates every week. Great sister Angela Gate. Yeah, this was a great class, man. For breaking this matrix, and always going back to the origin and everything that the Greeks stole. For that, great brother. Definitely looking forward to part 3. What's happening new to the great Ned? Forward to more primordial vision. Yeah, this is a great class, man. I'm definitely honored to be in this frequency, and it does require a lot of work, a lot of discipline. So I hope that to you, great brother Ani, for being that example and being that echo of our great teacher. Definitely looking forward to another session. Got to be a reason for me to get over here. So I hope that to you, and yeah, with that we'll end this great tribal session the way we began. From today's teachings, the great Hori says, set your heart on writing greatly, a calling that will profit its doer. He who is skilled in the words of the nectar, there is nothing that he does not know. Uncle and Ma'at, Un and S, Mentet or Set and Ma'at, Men Hepapet and Ma'at, Per in Hukui, Per Iku. I live for Ma'at. I exist within her. I do not speak in the place of Ma'at. Every day I advance towards Ma'at. My being is surrounded in darkness. I come forth as conscious light.
Death culture, to be alive here, it's a lie here.
Come join us, House of ATTON, Ancient Tehuti and Teachings on the Tiru. Back to the source, we the original Axemen.
You're watching me, but you don't want to admit you're watching me. This is great. I know exactly who you are.
Ah.
I woke up back in my bed. I could see my room as clear as looking through a lens. See, I thought I was awake, so then I tried to move, but my body shocked me like I was plugged in a socket. I started panicking and scrambling within my mental. I thought I died and now my body I'm forever locked in. I was screaming, help me, someone help me please. But there wasn't any sound making it through my teeth. I could see movement and motion, shadows gather around me. How could I close my eyes already closed. Eating alkaline at this time, fasting rezo shocking. I was stuck in a paralysis, Fred had me froze. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. I finally started waking up and coming back. I was in the opposite of states effect. That's relaxed, I grabbed my phone and started to do research. Knowledge of what happened, I was in a lack. Insidious, the movie came direct to mind. Every time I've seen this, it was connected to what's not divine. Demons crawling forcefully, holding the body down. Ain't no point in trying to scream, you will not make a sound. Deep within, I knew I made that a reality. The all is mine, I saw it, and so shall it be. I start replacing fear with knowing universe is mental. Talking to my subconscious to wake me up in dreams. Then one day my spirit guides came in so essential. Daylight's astral playing loud in my dream helped to set me free. I'm back in paralysis, laying on my couch. But this time I was calm, ready to exit out. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. From what I read, I need to move my arms in front of me. See a rope and pull it, separate and then release. Now I'm out, I see my house is gleaming, I accept it. Looking in the mirror, staring at my car's reflection. I was so ecstatic, flying in every direction. This was months of subconscious reprogramming and redirection. Place my thoughts in my body, wake up, that's what I did. I was reborn from that day so I could start to live. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed.